Hello, so in today's video, I'm going to teach you, I don't know, some cool little movement, breathing technique, and also we're going to, this is a pretty bright idea, hence the light bulb. This is how to validate and fact check every grand conspiracy that you've ever heard of. You kind of have to prove yourself this by just going out and looking for it. But I've talked with a lot of people who have checked this out themselves, and the universe is fractal. And so for anything to exist, it exists at a higher level and at a lower level. It just keeps existing fractally like that. So anything that you notice, like anything, if you were making a perception of it, it is fractal. It's almost like there's a rule that you have to have noticed it at least 3 times for a thing to be an object, right? To be in the moment, you have to have noticed the moment, the past, and the future to create now. So it's the invisible higher and lower fractal of every perception that you have is doing that same thing. So some people, everyone has the same sight, and people's perception is at different frequencies, and that frequency, as you scan through reality, when you see something, your perception of like where you're at or where you're looking will highlight a band, and so then that'll have the invisible parts of the perception. You're perceiving all of it to create the middle. So you're perceiving the past and the future, the ideas, the realities, this invisible, provable thing. That you never get to, right? It's just as elusive out for all perceptions. So like when you're seeing the moment, you can study the future. Like, you know that there's going to be a tomorrow. You know how the year works. You know where the stars are going to be in several days. You know your sleep cycles. You know where certain animals are going to be. So you can see into the future. So when you notice an event or an object or something happening, it goes in and out, up and down. So like there's farming that's happening, and if you partake in farming, like something that you partake in, it's happening above you and below you. If you partake in it, right? So like if you partake in farming, if you partake in animal consumption, if you partake in resource harvesting, like if you extract minerals from the planet or whatever, if you take, when you eat, the thing that you're participating in is happening fractally. So above you is going to be a farming system of some sort, done by beings way, 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 way smarter than you. Way smarter than you. And your entire reality, your entire political drama is just in cow land. And you can be whatever level of cow. There's no way it'll reach up to understanding your farmers or being able to even fathom what's going on. So you just know that, like, outside of this very narrow pin of your very normal worldview, like, you can know factually that at the level there's going to be a pin, and it's just a boundary, it's just a wall, it's sort of artificial, and you get put back inside. And you know that if you go to the edge and do that, you know that you're going to have this experience. And so people go to the edge and they try and they escape. Like, we're obviously more complex than cows, right? We participate in a lot of different things at once. So the way these fractals like look as they intersect is like very bizarre, very almost science fiction, you would say. Because it's like if you perceive an object and this person perceives an object, both imagined futures are sort of rippling out into each other. So if you see farming, and how you farm changes the incomprehensible environment around you. And so if you do things with love and understanding, with an appreciation of the animal's life cycle or the whatever's life cycle, then the people around you and the higher beings around you start to act exactly as you acted. And it's just like that is happening. So if you look at the breadth of intelligence between the different species that you know of and how they interact together, when you see that pattern, if you see that pattern, it's happening one level up. And that's the level of the ideas and the forms and the archetypes and stuff like that. So a lot of these conspiracies and stuff are absolutely true, and the structure of the conspiracy is going to be identical to the structure of your own life in every way. And the lower, so that's the higher aspect, like you're being controlled exactly as you're controlling other people or not. And then the lower aspect is like how you're eating, believing, thinking, like treating that which is lower than you. I just had it, I lost it, we'll come back to it. But yeah, you know that the structure of the world is identical to the way that you participated and engage with it. Because it's fractal. So anything perceived is fractaling. So you see it everywhere, and you see how that you interact with that fractal changes everything that you're not seeing. And so the way that it fractals out is in the concept or in the idea of a thing, and like you might be of like a higher intelligence, and you can perceive this level of reality. You can perceive a higher level of reality physically, but it still then fractals out, so the lower level becomes invisible but implied, and a new higher level becomes imaginable. So as people shift what they're paying attention to, or what level that they can see at, different things become imaginable and different things become invisible but known. And so that's kind of also similar to as you sweep through stuff, you're reading it and you consciously, it's almost like you want to know something, then you know it, then you forget it but you do it, and then it's irrelevant. That happens with all of your perception everywhere. That's happening with everything. So every learning style, every learning technique also is happening at the observational level. So you can improve what you think, but you can also improve how you assemble data, right? And so if you go down into visibly seeing how you assemble perception, suddenly makes the main person level of observation almost invisible or implied. So this sort of shift is also people's different levels of autism. And so people become kind of fixated on a particular frequency or area, and then that frequency makes it so that some things are imaginable, some things are understood, and then that gives you the rationality, the reasoning right there. And so the range of that is as big as the range of human physical capability, which is actually kind of wild. Like if you think about it, we've equalized a lot of things using technology. Like everyone kind of runs to work at the same speed of 65 miles an hour. Everybody kind of catches food at the same Costco. So a lot of stuff has been like equalized, but in general, like you look at the range of like just look at the range of athleticism out there, of the like 40th percentile American human, 40th percentile versus the top 1% in any sort of physical mental endeavor, and that's wild. So the things that people are capable of thinking at the higher levels of ability of thought are as absurd in their application as like the stuff the average pro skateboarder can do compared to just somebody who's never, like just me. I've never done board sports hardly. Like if it blows my mind. I've tried to practice being athletic and working out my whole life, and I can't even do the most basic whatever. So that level of skill disconnect happens with thinking. And then you have a situation where like the university and the educational systems are like CrossFit studios, like injuring 20% of their athletes or whatever being injured, and everyone's just like, oh, I don't know, I guess I'm going too hard. Let's do our research. Like so you have like the like you look at all of athletic training like almost in the universities and the gyms, and they're literally like monkeys hitting their heads on steel. Like, why shoulder hurt? Like, why body not do right? And they get like PhDs for like theories at this level of like stupor thought, and nobody goes, oh, why don't we look at what's happening? Because looking in that direction, like bringing awareness to it, seemed like no, it's just not even like nobody would think you could possibly get data from it. This is the first 18 years of my life or more. Here I was, like swimming every day, moving objects and stuff to try and stimulate things to get better. Oh, shoulder hurt, put ice on it. Zero study and conversation about what was actually going on. Like no study and conversation about what was going on. And I know that was replicated everywhere. I was considered well educated in this like movement physiology community. We call Western medicine, all the manual physical therapy arts, massage, like just everything based on that. All Western medicine is no, it's good. I don't want to rag on anybody, but yeah. So there's beings that are higher than us, and the best of them eat us with a prayer of respect and remorse. And they're most part they're awesome people, but they just happen to like eat us, and they're also way smarter than us. Just like we can be awesome people, and we happen to eat cows. Or we happen to eat deer. It's like, do I want to be a cow? No. Do I want to be a deer? No. Do I want to be hunted? No. Do I eat things that are farmed and hunted? Absolutely, yes, I do. So I know that that's going to happen to me. So it's like I want to have that relationship. Sort of, you can instantly shift reality by giving out like gratitude to particular life lived or whatever. Like instantly you have to look, like I've been exploring this recently, like the fractal nature of reality. Like if you really look inwards and you see like the words coming out of your heart, it's like that stuff obviously completely controls the visible level of reality. And that's a catastrophe. It's like you think it's coming, you think it's this coming, you think that is coming, you think it's like, oh, maybe it's this bad, I'm gonna do it. Oh, that's rock bottom. And it's like rock bottom isn't when life gets bad enough. It's like when something kicks you in the right way and it turns you around. It's usually just a question. Like what kind of turned me around towards this was trying to do affirmations, strangely enough. Like I developed like such a strong hate for myself that when someone tried to get me to say like an affirmation of like I am lovable, or I'm learning and growing, like those words were absolutely nauseating me. I used to think affirmations were just like cheesy, but then I found out that I like couldn't do it. And when you find out that you don't have control over that, it's a little bit shocking. Oh, where was I? So I don't know. It's just like that's just how it is. And then all those different ways of like, oh, I'm a person that participates in this, and then I'm a person that participates in that, and then I do that, and then I do that. Anytime that you do or see something, it's implying a fractal. I don't know if this proves it to like a somebody who's where it's not obvious already, if you haven't noticed that already. But otherwise, like if you're curious, if you're genuinely interested in knowing what's going on, like what's the secret to the outside container, like who's really pulling the strings here, it really depends on how you participate. And you just trace your, by participate, it's more of a, it's not how you financially participate. Like financial stuff, like accumulation of wealth, I don't have any, by the way, is not participation. It's just relationship. Participation would be like if you trace like where are your calories coming from, where is your energy coming from, etc. So obviously we're all on these different rails of like probably oil, petroleum, etc., electricity, whatever food supply chain, like mining, lithium, extraction of minerals from ores and all that stuff. A big shift in consciousness or shift in awareness would be the realization of that fractal. I would recategorize evil in some ways. Like I would definitely recategorize evil, and it would have to be on a case-by-case basis and not really dismissing anything, but and I don't mean like normal, like bad person evil, like, oh, I betrayed you. I mean like the what we do to animals, or like what you do to trees and plants. Like when you just savagely destroy something and use it for your own purposes because you're a higher consciousness, like that's going to happen to us as forcefully as we do it to other stuff in some fractal way. So the fractal of things is what people call gods or deities sometimes. Like let's say your entire relationship with corn. If you can perceive all the corn like as a thing, as like a corn, the corning, the higher fractal is going to be that platonic form of corn. And that form is going to change as the actual corn changes. So you just look at how you're plugging into everything. And I mean, this boils down to like, oh, which products do you support, which people do you support? But it's like an understanding of like, there's some stuff out there that's like pretty twisted, nasty. It's stuff that bothered me when I first learned about it, like really bad stuff. They're kind of coming to light. I think people are gonna like, no, there's some stuff out there that's like real bad, like, and it's just the same as like if the cows like figured out what they do to some of the cows, and yeah, so that can be, I mean, that can be like pretty bad, but like just peace of heart, know that nothing that you didn't do to everything around you is going to be done to you. It's like the only time anybody would treat you like that is if they were as much smarter than you are than a cow, or like as smarter than you are as a plant. Chances are you're not even going to see it coming, so it's like not necessarily anything to worry about, but it's almost like occasionally from time to time the herd gets like spooked, like a couple of them become sentient or self-aware, and then, hey, look at that, what is that doing over there? And then it's so just everybody should just, I think, calm down no matter what, and just kind of pray for the best. There's not nobody's, because they're not in charge either. They're fractal. Like everybody succumbs to it entirely. So it's like it's better to just like when everyone starts to become aware of everybody else all at the same time. Just stay calm, right? Don't let them panic you. I don't know who the them is. Anyway.